What if I told you that everything you long for is much closer than you think? You don't need to be lucky or wait for mystical signs from the universe. What you really need is to understand how those who achieve their goals think. The Stoics didn't desire from a place of scarcity, but from a place of firm purpose. They visualized clearly and acted from the strength they carried within. And the most incredible part? They left teachings so powerful that, if you choose to apply them today, they could change the course of your life forever. If you've ever felt that inner urge that you want more, that you were born for something greater, but there's something inside you holding you back, then this message is exactly for you. This episode doesn't aim to give you a temporary dose of motivation. I'm here to shake you and make you wake up, because these 9 Stoic principles are not just concepts, they are real tools. And today I'm going to share them with you, one by one. Are you ready to stop depending on luck and start actively building your destiny? We're going to dismantle limiting beliefs, ignite your inner strength, and teach you how to desire like a true Stoic. But before we dive in, I want you to do something simple yet deeply meaningful. Go to the comments section and write this phrase: "It's time to attract what I desire most. I am a Stoic." By writing it, you're not just making a symbolic act. You are signing a commitment with yourself. A commitment to transformation, to focus, and to power. Let's begin. Lesson 1. Don't beg, make it happen. Marcus Aurelius didn't sit around waiting for miracles. He was clear that if you wanted something, you had to make it happen yourself. Have you ever felt like you're waiting for something that just never arrives? That job that never materializes, that relationship that never improves, that opportunity that always feels within reach but never fully presents itself. And there you are, begging the universe, praying to God, to life, to good fortune, waiting for a response that never comes. But the Stoics knew this very well. Life doesn't respond to begging, it responds to your actions. Marcus Aurelius, both emperor and sage, didn't sit around hoping fate would favor him. Every day he got up with one guiding question: what can I do today that depends on me? That's the key. I'm not saying it's wrong to dream. Of course not. You can imagine, desire, long for things. But there's a big difference between wanting passively and desiring with action. Asking without moving is like expecting a seed to become a tree just by staring at it. Without water, sunlight, and soil, no miracle will make it happen. And here's a truth we often prefer to ignore. Things don't happen by magic. They happen when you decide you've had enough of waiting and it's your moment. Imagine you long for a shift in your career. You're tired of your current job. You dream of having your own project, something that inspires and motivates you. And what do? You think about it, you wish for it, you talk about it, you visualize it, but the months go by and you keep putting it off, waiting for that perfect sign to tell you, now's the time. But here's the truth. That perfect moment isn't coming. Why? Because it simply doesn't exist. The perfect moment is one you create. Transformation begins when you make that call you've been postponing, when you send that email, when you decide to learn that thing you've been putting off, when you invest your time not in complaining, but in moving, acting, progressing. That's when what many call magic begins, when you stop talking about your dreams and start building them with your hands in silence. Life is like the ocean. You can stay on the shore waiting for the current to carry you to your goals, or you can build your boat, row with determination and get wet, knowing there may be storms, but also a direction toward your destination. If you're waiting for a change, if you long for something different to happen, let me be honest with you. You are the miracle. You are the push you're waiting for. You are the beginning of everything you dream of. And if you don't do something, nothing will change. Stoicism didn't come to comfort you. It came to open your eyes. And this first principle is bold and clear. Don't beg, act. Don't wait, provoke. Because when you change your thinking, your energy, and your actions, the universe doesn't respond with promises, it responds with results. Lesson 2. Desire with direction, not desperation. There's a huge difference between desiring with calm and doing so from desperation. Do you know what one of the biggest problems people face today is? They don't really know what they want, but they want it immediately. We rush through life carrying an endless list of wants. We want success, love, freedom, prestige, money, happiness. But we rarely stop to ask ourselves honestly, which of these desires truly come from within me, and which arise from fear, comparison, or anxiety. Epictetus explained it with a clarity that leaves no room for doubt. Desire isn't the problem. The problem is desiring without understanding the reason behind it. Imagine you're driving a car, foot on the gas, but you have no GPS, no clear direction, no map. Sure, you're going fast, but where to? And worse, the further you go, the more you drift away from yourself. That's exactly what happens when we live chasing desires without knowing why. We jump from one goal to another, from impulse to impulse, without any true purpose. And then every desire ends up becoming anxiety. Think of it this way. One day you decide you'll only be happy when you make more money. You push yourself to the limit, make sacrifices, work endless hours, get overwhelmed with stress, and lose touch with yourself. And when you finally reach that goal, something inside still feels empty. Why? Because what you truly longed for wasn't the money. It was to feel secure, to have peace, to reach freedom. But since you weren't clear about that from the start, you ended up chasing the wrong desire. That's exactly what Epictetus wanted us to understand. It's not about desiring more. It's about desiring better. Don't fill yourself with goals. Fill yourself with meaning. You don't need an infinite list of targets to be happy. What you need is clarity. Ask yourself today, what do I desire because I truly want it? And what do I desire because I was made to believe I should want it? Sometimes we think that accumulating more is the way, but true power lies in knowing what to let go of, what to leave behind. Don't keep chasing what doesn't fulfill you. Don't trade your peace for empty achievements. You deserve a life filled with meaning, not one decorated with goals that have no soul. And always remember this: anxiety is born when you chase things you don't understand. Calm arises when you move toward what truly matters. Epictetus isn't telling you to stop dreaming. He's inviting you to ask a powerful question. Does this desire bring me closer to or farther from my essence? When you can answer that clearly, your desires will begin to come true, because you'll no longer be asking for them from a place of emptiness, but from a deep connection with yourself. Lesson 3. Let your discipline be stronger than your excuses. There's something the Stoics understood with absolute clarity. They didn't place their trust in luck, but in their preparation. And in today's world, dominated by instant gratification, that mindset has been lost. Today we want everything to be easy, instant, and effortless. But what arrives without sacrifice also leaves without leaving a mark. And what truly holds value can only be built with a tool most people try to avoid: discipline. Discipline is that inner voice that forces you to get up when your mind wants to keep sleeping. It's that invisible muscle that doesn't show up in the mirror, but holds up the entire structure of your life. There's a quiet strength in those who don't show off, but act every single day without fail. People who don't wait for the perfect moment because they've realized that moment doesn't appear by magic. It's built. While many wait around for life to hand them something, the disciplined take action and make things happen. And you know what happens when you move forward with discipline? The universe has no choice but to open up, because you're not begging for miracles. You're creating them with your actions. Picture this scene. You promise yourself you'll get up at 6 in the morning to train or read, but the alarm goes off, and your mind starts to play dirty. 5 more minutes. I'm exhausted today. I'll start Monday. And that's where the most important battle is fought. It's not against the alarm clock, it's against that inner voice that wants to keep you in comfort, in lukewarmness and passivity. If day after day you let that voice win, it doesn't matter how much you dream, how much you long for, how clearly you visualize your success, you'll never build the life you deserve. But if one day you decide that your word matters more than any excuse, that will be the moment when everything begins to shift. Seneca put it perfectly. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. You don't need luck to smile at you if you're prepared, and preparation doesn't depend on your mood. It's a choice you renew every single day. Every time you choose to keep going, even when you don't feel like it, you're sending a message to the universe. I'm ready. I'm committed. Not feeling motivated today? That's okay. Motivation is fleeting, it comes and goes. But discipline, that will take you far. Don't wait to feel like it's the right time to start. Start now. And one day you'll look back and see that you've become unstoppable. Make yourself this promise, that your discipline will be stronger than any excuse, that your actions will speak louder than your desires, that the universe will have no choice but to respond to you, because you proved with consistency that this time, you're serious. Do you want everything you dream of to become a reality? Then stop waiting for something outside of you to make it happen. Make it happen yourself. Not with pretty words, but with perseverance. Not just with dreams, but with steady, firm steps. Lesson 4. Visualize but keep your feet firmly on the ground. Dreaming is a wonderful thing. It allows us to imagine a different tomorrow, more fulfilling, more authentic. And of course, it's okay to dream. The problem arises when you get trapped in your mind, locked inside fantasies in those some days that never arrive. The Stoics were deeply realistic. Yes, they believed in the power of visualization, but they didn't use it as a means to escape reality. They used it as a powerful tool to prepare for it. Imagine you have a seed in your hand. You look at it with care, nurture it, speak to it. You imagine the immense tree it could become one day, but you never plant it. Do you know what will happen? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. A seed without soil and without action is nothing more than a stagnant idea. And the same thing happens with your dreams. Visualization is key because it gives you direction and it shows you a horizon, a possible destination. But if you don't walk toward it, if you don't make decisions, if you don't do the hard and uncomfortable work, that dream ends up turning into frustration. Let's look at an example. You want to launch your own project. You imagine it with excitement, the clients, the freedom, the impact. You see it all clearly in your mind. You dive into courses, inspiration, ideas. But time passes and you don't make a call, you don't define a product, you don't speak to anyone about your vision. And that's when a Stoic would raise an eyebrow and say to you, stop dreaming without direction, start building with purpose. Visualize that business, yes, but also ask yourself a concrete question. What action, even a small one, can I take today to get closer to what I want? Because if you don't bring it into the present, if you don't ground it, that dream fades away like smoke between your fingers. Having your feet firmly on the ground doesn't mean you can't fly. It means you clearly recognize the point from which you're taking off. And that gives you stability. The Stoics weren't cold or lacking vision, they were practical. They knew the soul doesn't grow stronger through waiting, but through action. Epictetus said it precisely. It's not what happens to you that defines your destiny, but how you choose to respond to it. That's where the real key lies. It's not about sitting around waiting for things to happen. It's about preparing yourself with such commitment that, when the opportunity arrives, you're ready to receive it. If you have a goal, a dream, a desire burning inside you, don't let it hang in your mind like a pretty picture. Don't wait to have everything perfectly planned to begin. Dreaming without taking a step is like drawing a map and staying still. On the other hand, when you combine your dreams with action, you're telling the universe, I'm ready, I'm here, I'm willing. And that's when, as if by magic, the doors begin to open. Lesson 5. Let go of the outcome, but never let go of the effort. There's a truth many of us struggle to accept, but once we finally embrace it, it becomes liberating. You won't always be able to control what happens, but you will always have power over what you choose to do. And that, exactly that, is where the true path of Stoicism begins. The Stoics understood this perfectly. Don't place your happiness in what lies beyond your control. Place it in your effort, in your attitude, in your consistency. Have you ever asked yourself why we so often live with anxiety? Because we act expecting everything to turn out exactly as we planned. And if it doesn't, we lose motivation, feel frustrated, and abandon the path. But when you understand that the final result doesn't fully depend on you, that there are many external factors you can't control, you begin to free yourself from the fear of failure. And at that moment, your true strength is born. When you give your all, when you show up without needing approval, when you act with integrity even if no one applauds, that's when transformation begins. Imagine you're preparing for a job interview. You study every detail, practice your answers, prepare emotionally, arrive on time, smile, connect. And after all that, you don't get the job. What do? Do you fall apart? Do you start thinking you're not good enough? The Stoics would answer you firmly, don't judge yourself by the result. Judge yourself by your effort. Because if you gave your best, if you were brave, if you acted with honesty and self-respect, then you already won, even if they said no. So often we cling so tightly to the outcome that we forget to enjoy and appreciate the process. We want the ideal body, the perfect relationship, the successful business, but we don't appreciate the small victories we achieve along the way. Epictetus put it wisely. Don't wish for things to happen as you want. Wish for them to happen just as they do, and you will thrive. And what does that mean? It's time to stop fighting against what you can't change. You must learn to flow with reality, without giving up, without losing direction, without abandoning what you truly want to build. There will be times when you give everything you've got, and still, things won't turn out the way you expected. And that's okay, because your value doesn't lie in the final result, but in your ability to keep moving forward, to not give up, to stay grounded with dignity, even in silence and without recognition. Lesson 6. Turn pain into drive. At some point in life, we've all gone through pain that overwhelmed us. A love that didn't work out, a dream that collapsed, an unexpected betrayal, a deep loss, or a no we desperately wanted to be a yes. And in those moments, all we want is to stop the world, close our eyes, and disappear from the noise. But right there, in the middle of that pain that seems never-ending, is where the Stoics offer us an invaluable lesson. The obstacle to action advances action. What blocks the path becomes the path. Do you know why so many people get stuck in suffering? Because they believe that feeling pain is a sign of failure. But it's not. Feeling doesn't mean losing. Feeling means being human. We fail when we allow pain to stop us and when we let it paralyze us. The Stoics never tried to ignore suffering. On the contrary, they faced it head-on, accepted it, and turned it into a tool for growth. They knew that every fall can become a step upward, and that if you use pain as energy, you become unstoppable. Picture this. You were in a relationship that fulfilled you completely. You thought you had found your person, you imagined a future, made plans, dreamed of a forever. And one day, everything falls apart. They leave you and it hurts to even breathe. You ask yourself, what did I do wrong? Here's where the Stoic teaching comes in. Don't stay there. Don't define yourself by what you lost. Turn that emptiness into fertile ground for evolution. Start working out and roll in that course you've been putting off. Reconnect with yourself. Use that pain as fuel to become your best version. Not out of pride, but out of self-love. Every disappointment shows you the parts of yourself you no longer want to repeat. Every stumble reveals where you still need to grow. Every loss reminds you to value more, not less. Pain, when worked through with awareness, becomes a compass. It guides you, reveals what truly matters, and pushes you toward what you actually deserve. I know it hurts. I know what it's like to wake up with a knot in your chest, wishing time could rewind. But I also know this. Within every pain is a seed of power. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You just need to get up. Even if it's slow, even through tears, get up. Turn that wound into a starting point. Let every no you received become the yes you give yourself. A Stoic doesn't dwell on what didn't happen. They take the pain, turn it into strength, and move forward, because they know the obstacle isn't the end. It's the beginning of something greater. Lesson 7. Surround yourself with calm, not noise. We live in an era dominated by constant noise. Notifications ringing every few seconds, opinions coming from all directions, demands that never rest for even a moment. And in the middle of all that chaos, how can you possibly hear what your soul truly needs? The Stoics knew that silence isn't absence, it's full presence. That when you manage to quiet the mind, the soul finally has space to speak. But to reach that state, you need to learn to protect your peace, as if it were your most sacred sanctuary. Epictetus was very clear on this. No truly free person lives in constant complaint. The wise don't make rushed judgments, they wait for the right moment, they breathe and decide from a place of calm. This doesn't mean you become indifferent or distant, it means you learn to observe before reacting, to feel before speaking, and to make decisions from a place of tranquility, not from urgency or pressure. Picture this scene. You're about to make a life-changing decision. Leaving a job, ending a relationship, starting a new project. But you're full of anxiety, overwhelmed with stress, and everyone around you has a different opinion. Your mind becomes a noisy room with 100 voices shouting at once. Do you really want to make a decision in that state? A Stoic would choose something different. They would seek a quiet space, breathe with intention, and ask themselves key questions. What do I truly want? What is right, even if it's hard? Which decision brings me peace, not just momentary pleasure? Because the noise doesn't just come from outside. Sometimes the most destructive noise lives inside us: guilt, doubt, constant comparison. Seneca said it wisely. No wind is favorable for the one who doesn't know where they're sailing. And if your mind is flooded with others' voices, you'll never be able to recognize your own. That's why it's essential to give yourself moments of silence. Just 5 minutes a day, no phone, no social media, no obligations. Just you, your breath, and your truth. That's where clarity begins. That's where deep desires separate from impulses that only feed the ego. Look, I'm not telling you to live like a monk, but I am telling you that in the middle of the world's chaos, you must learn to build your own inner refuge. Turn your mind into a clean space where not every thought gets in, where there's no shouting, where things are heard calmly. Because when you allow serenity to dwell within you, everything you truly need begins to come closer. And no, it's not magic, it's clarity. If you want to attract from the deepest part of your being, you first have to silence the noise outside and put in order the noise you carry within. Lesson 8. Act as if you already are the person you long to be. In life, we often fall into the trap of waiting for the perfect moment to take action. We think that real change only comes once we hit a goal, achieve a certain status, or gain more experience. But did you know that the real secret to getting closer to what you desire lies in how you choose to act today? The Stoics understood this perfectly. They knew that present-day decisions are what shape the future. As Epictetus said, don't worry about what's outside of your control. Focus on what you can manage. And what you can control right now is your attitude, your thoughts, and the choices you make, without waiting for the future to tell you, now is the right time. Picture this. You want to become a successful person, but you're holding back waiting for something, more money, more training, more time, and in the meantime, you keep postponing. But the real question is, how are you acting today? What would that version of yourself you long to become do? How would they move? How would they think? What would they choose? And you don't need to wait until you've made it to act with confidence. Because if you wait to be disciplined before you start being productive, it's likely the train of progress will pass you by. As Seneca said, no wind is favorable to the one who doesn't know where they're sailing. Success isn't a final destination you arrive at. It's a journey walked step by step, and each step depends on how you choose to act today. The Stoics didn't sit around waiting for the perfect conditions to arrive. They knew that true change starts from within, from the way you choose to face life every single day. They didn't let themselves get swept away by the chaos outside. They created their own inner order right here, right now, without waiting for the future to give them permission. Want to be a more disciplined person? Start today. Wake up early, create a routine, define your goals. Want to be more kind? Do it now. Offer help. Show compassion. Listen with empathy. Your future isn't built on dreams alone. It's forged with every action you take in the present. And as Epictetus taught, man is not disturbed by things but by the view he takes of them. It's easy to fall into the belief that only once we reach a certain position, everything will finally fall into place. But the real secret is understanding that everything you need already lives inside you. You just have to take the first step. Every action, no matter how small it seems, is a seed that will bear fruit over time. If today you choose to act with strength, intention, and confidence, you'll be paving the road toward that authentic and powerful version of who you are already becoming. Lesson 9. Stop waiting. Become the magnet for your desires. Have you ever stopped to reflect on how the desires we carry shape our lives? How many times have you said, "When this happens, I'll be happy," or "Once I achieve this, then I'll feel fulfilled"? We live in a state of waiting, convinced that some external event will grant us what, in truth, already lives within us: fulfillment, calm, and a sense of achievement. But here's the reality. You don't need the world to change for you to start changing. The real power lies in becoming the magnet for what you long to attract. The Stoics, like Seneca and Epictetus, understood this well. They knew that any deep transformation begins from within. There's no need to keep waiting. What you desire is already available to you. But first, you must become someone aligned with what you dream of. Marcus Aurelius expressed it wisely. What doesn't benefit the hive doesn't benefit the bee. What does that mean in practice? That if you want to attract peace, love, success, or abundance, you must first embody those qualities. Don't wait any longer to become that person. You don't need a big bank account to act with a successful mindset. You don't need a perfect relationship to begin giving unconditional love. Everything starts with you. Imagine you're seeking something specific: financial stability, a healthy relationship, or emotional balance. You feel stuck, believing that once that thing arrives, everything will finally fall into place. But what if I told you that the real magnet for your desires isn't something external or something you can buy or wait for? That magnet is within you, in how you see yourself, how you act, and how you connect with the world. Your life is like a mirror. What you project is what you attract. If today you decide to act as if you already have what you long for, the opportunities, people, and experiences that vibrate at that same frequency will begin to manifest. This isn't about magic, it's a natural principle of resonance. Epictetus summed it up perfectly. The only thing under your control is your attitude, what you choose to be. This is the great secret. You don't have to keep waiting. If you desire something, it's already planted inside you. You just need to align with it. Act from that place where you already are what you want to become. Let your attitude, your habits, and your outlook on life become the true magnets that attract everything you dream of. Because what you long for isn't outside of you. It's inside, waiting for you to choose to express it. So don't postpone any longer. Start today by behaving like that version of yourself that you visualized for so long. Do it with determination. Do it with faith. And you'll see how the world begins to respond to your new energy. If you made it to this point, I invite you to leave a comment sharing which lesson you feel you need to apply right now, or simply write, "It's time to attract what I desire most. I am a Stoic." That way, I'll know who made it to the end of this powerful lesson. I'm excited to hear your stories of transformation and growth. Don't forget to subscribe and activate the notification bell so the digital platforms know that this content inspires and adds value to your life. Thank you from the heart for your time, your presence, and your support. See you in the next adventure.